Bienvenidos and welcome back to a follow-up segment of Arizona About It Stories in Latino USA TV, where we try to bring you stories from our community, our cultura, through our Chicano and Chicana lens. And this is part 2 of a program with Chelsea Chaidez, former marketing director for the Phoenix Suns, talking about her background, degree in marketing, coming from a family much like ours. But yet she pursued education, and the importance to me as an educator to have you on our program, I can't tell you how that just raises, you made my day by being here today, okay?
Oh, thank you
And
so much.
Talking about El Valle program, a marketing program she developed for the Phoenix Suns, which is unusual for a major sports team to develop a program that highlights Chicano, an aspect of Chicano culture. So welcome back, Chelsea, and we can start to pick up talking about El Valle. Maybe just give a quick recap and then we'll move on.
Yeah. So the El Valle campaign is a uniform campaign that we did. For this uniform right here, it took 2.5 years for us to develop this jersey, and it was based off of lowrider culture and really meant to really highlight it and you know, bring awareness to it.
Yeah, and I can say many of us Chicanos that have lived here in Phoenix and grew up here, we've all been Phoenix Suns before we were fans of any other sports team. And so I'm going to be honest, I never bought a jersey until you came out with this El Valle. So before we leave here today, I want you to sign it for me, okay?
Okay, oh my God.
So we were talking about how you, a Chicana with a marketing degree from Arizona State University, a Chicano professor at Arizona State University with a doctorate, and one of our main sports stars kind of put their heads together to come up with this campaign. So talk to us about it, where we left off.
Yeah, so, you know, we started to develop this lowrider because it wouldn't be a lowrider campaign without a lowrider, right? Like it doesn't make sense. We could, you know, integrate the pinstriping into the paneling, but we needed the actual car. And so Devin picked out the car, and we consulted with him on like, okay, like, do you know any sort of lowrider artists? And it's so funny, we both came to the table with the same name. It was Efrain Gonzalez, which he's known as Bugs in the community. Bugs did it, I believe. And so Bugs was the artist behind the car. And so he did like the entire, like the pinstriping on the car, like the paint job, the seats. I mean, the car started off red.
Okay.
And so a lot of people don't know that the base was red. And he completely transformed it. And so the way that we use this car is we took it to different community activations throughout the year, but it was also meant to be in the actual video that we shot for it.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and so it was like it was almost like the mascot of the campaign is what we wanted it to be. So every single time that we wore this jersey on the court, we would also have the lowrider that we designed displayed outside of the arena. So it was meant to be like, hey, we're serious about this. Like, we're really representing. Like, we actually went out of our way to create this car. And so, yeah, it turned out really, really cool. And it was part of the video. And yeah, something to be proud about.
Yeah, I think a lot of our community, we've seen that video, and it did give us a sense of pride, and because we feel it is our team, and Devin Booker is our star. I mean, you know, he's a constant here. He's been here for 10 years, and we want to give him a shout out. Keep going, brother. Don't leave us, okay? But tell me about the significance from your perspective of having a Latina in a sports field where there are very few of us, and the abilities that you must have had to speak to people up the chain of command to really make this happen, because no other sports team has done this.
Yeah. You know, that's a great question, because it actually was very difficult to get it to the point of execution, because on top of the fact that, you know, the majority of the people that I work with are not Latinos. There's this aspect of having to explain or almost over-explain the why behind why it is that I want to do this campaign. On top of that, I will say that there was, even when I shared this idea with other Latinos, that there was this almost like feeling of, are you sure you want to base this campaign on Chicano culture? And then they would typically associate Chicano with Cholo.
Correct.
So they would say, do you really want to do a Cholo campaign? And I said, no, I don't want to do a Cholo campaign. I want to do a Chicano campaign, which is different.
And we all know there's two different things.
Yes.
Cholos are not Chicanos necessarily. They can be, because there's a lot of crossovers in our subcultures that we have. And let's face it, there are a lot of Latinos out there that still look down on the fact that we are known as a lowriding. We have lowriding culture as part of our culture. Not all of it, but it is a significant part.
Right.
And I know now in East LA, there's the Alliance of Lowriders, and there are like 8 national clubs in 8 different states. So it is growing, and it is a renaissance, and they are involved in many community events. So tell me some more about that. Let's talk a little bit more about the challenges and how you finally were able to help the administration or the executives see the importance of this campaign, and that it was not going to be detrimental to their marketing.
Yeah, I think it started with kind of like what we talked about in a little bit earlier, where you have to target a very specific consumer. That's all what marketing is who is your target audience, right? Who is this campaign speaking to? And when you look at the Phoenix Suns audience, it is primarily Mexican Americans, and a lot of them identify with like a Chicano root. And so really it was kind of explaining that and saying, hey, we have been targeting the wrong consumer this entire time. We need to focus on this English dominant Mexican American and what are they into. And then another aspect to it was, if you think about basketball, it has a lot of like street culture, right? Like think about the sneakers, or like when players walk in through the tunnel and we get pictures of their outfits. Like all of that is part of the culture of basketball, right? So then if you take that lens and you say, okay, well, what's street culture from a Mexican American perspective? You can really see why we came up with a campaign like this, right? It's because this also speaks to a street culture, and it's a culture that is cool. It's something that people want to feel proud of. And so the challenge was kind of the over-explanation of kind of the whys, but then also just trusting in myself that if you do this very strategically and with intention, that it is not going to be perceived in a negative light. Because if you put thought into something and, oh, we did this because of this reason, and you do it in a way that's culturally relevant, people are going to appreciate it. People, when corporations go wrong with campaigns that culturally appropriate, it's because there wasn't enough thought. And you kind of peel back the curtain and you say, who created this campaign? And then you kind of see the holes. And so I think that was a challenge, but really like trusting in myself. And I think in the end, it's really cool to know that this was a very masculine project, entirely led by a woman. And I'm really proud of that.
Well, we're very proud of that, and we're very proud of the fact that you're here with us. I think that a lot of corporations still don't understand the market. As you mentioned, we're very different. We have totally bilingual, we have somewhat bilingual, we have English speaking, we have totally Spanish speaking, and now we have some of our indigenous people that speak, the indigenous languages, Spanish and English, and so we listen to different media. If you disaggregate us by demographic data of age, individuals my age listen to a lot of different types of music, right? But I don't think there's anyone that doesn't like mariachi or doesn't like cumbia or salsa, right? Or bachata, right? So I think that one of the challenges that we face when you're the only Latino or the only Chicana in this industry, you've overcome those, and now you're going on to the next stage of your life. 5 years with Phoenix Suns. What would you tell young people out there, young Chicanas that are aspiring to do something great and grandiose like what you've done?
Oh, thank you. I would say education opened doors for me. I mean, if I had to boil it down to one thing that changed my life, was education. Because having a seat at the table is only possible if you can meet the expectations of the people who are already there. And the reality is that you need to have that degree to participate in being at the table and participate in these sorts of projects and have a job with these sorts of corporations. It's something that I learned through my education. And so for me, my advice would be get educated and network.
Okay.
Because networking, which a lot of people are like, that's what everyone says, that's the advice everyone gives, but it's true. It's all about who you know. And, going into these circles of people who, work within the fields that you want to work in. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Good. Well, I want to thank Chelsea Chaidez for being our guest here today. Very important work that she's done, a legacy that you've left at such a young age, the El Valle campaign for the Phoenix Suns. But more important, you are a credit to your parents, to our community, and an educated Chicana. Now, I know after 5 years there, you are now out looking for another position. So I want to tell all our viewers, if you don't hire her, wow, you're going to lose out. You're going to get somebody that's experienced, somebody that's done the work, somebody with the education, and someone that will take your corporation to the next level in especially reaching the Chicano, Mexicano, Latino audience. So I want to say muchas gracias. This is Dr. Jose Leyba signing off, Arizona Barrio Stories, Latino USA TV, and we'll see you next time. Hasta la próxima vez. Muchas gracias.